I think it's safe to say that having a meaningful relationship with somebody who makes you better, who pours into you and who serves you, it's safe to say that it's okay for you to need that person and to let them know that. At least the person that you can reach out and touch who's right there doing life with you.
Absolutely.
When it's obvious that you need all these other people out here who influence your life and impact your life that you've never met.
When I'm with you, I am being your wife in that moment. When I'm with my baby girl, I'm being her mom. But I can't think about being your wife while I'm working on being a good mom to her. It's impossible for me to be like balanced, because in those moments, like certain things need more of your attention.
Who she is somebody that I long for and that I desire to have in my life. And I want her to know that I need her. I want her to know that her presence matters to me in my life. And I think it's important that as we're building and cultivating relationships with intention, we let the people in our lives know that you matter to me. Today, we're going to be talking about unpopular relationship advice. That's it. So a lot of people online today are experts in everything, especially relationships. So we're going to share with you guys some of the stuff that we've grown to learn to be true in our relationship, share some of those things with you, and understand that you don't necessarily have to agree with any of these things, but they from our experiences, and they might help you if you allow them to in some shape, form, or fashion. So that's what we're getting into today. My first piece of unpopular relationship advice is that not all good relationship advice is good for you. That means that even though something might sound like it's good advice for people in a relationship or for somebody who's trying to develop their relationship, it might only be good for a certain segment of people. It might only be good for people who have a certain relationship dynamic. And that doesn't always mean that what's working over here in this relationship is going to work in yours. So we have to understand that, especially in this world today, where so many people have so many different opinions and everybody wants to be experts in all of this stuff, not all good relationship advice is good for you. I've learned that, and that's one of the things that I can tell you for a fact is true across the board for most people. However, take it how you want it. Take it how you want it. What's your thoughts on that, baby? Have you even heard some common, typical like relationship advice that might actually be good, but may not be good for everybody?
I feel like I have, but no examples have come to my mind, because I've talked to people who've been in relationships and they'll say, oh yeah, we do things this way. And I'm like,
Right.
I mean, it couldn't be me, but if that works for you and that's good for you, then by all means, do what works for you. So I can't think of any examples right now, and I'm mad that I can't. But yeah, I have heard people say they do certain things in their relationship, and I'm like, well, we not doing that over here. Yeah. But I'm glad it works for you, and you feel like you have a healthy, thriving relationship. Congrats. Like that's really what matters, is you found something that works for you and your partner, and y'all are running with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you a simple one, because I know a lot of people might be able to relate to this in some way. There's always this conversation around, when you get married, that you're supposed to share bank accounts. Or if you're married, that your money shouldn't be separated and all of this other stuff. And a lot of the times those conversations come from some underlying trust issues. That's usually what it is.
Right.
But there's relationships like ours, like our money has been separated since we've been together. But it's never been an issue for us. But at the same time, we're open about everything. We talk about everything. And what's mine is my wife's. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. And we always look to support each other. So there's never a moment where we're feeling without, or like there's a secret or something to hide or anything. Like, it's full transparency. Yeah. And it just hasn't been something that we've done in that regard. Yeah. But it's worked for us, and it's never caused us any problems. However, there's other relationships where that might be a huge thing for them. And that works in their relationship. It's not to say that one way is right or wrong. It's saying that that's what works for them. Right. And that's really probably going to be like the basis of this whole episode, is understanding that even though something sounds good, when you meet a person, your goal, I believe, should be to groom your relationship and create something that works collectively for the both of you, and not saying that this is how it's supposed to be. This is how our marriage gotta be. And if it's either gonna be like this, or we're not gonna be together, we're not gonna work out, or it don't have to be that.
Right.
It's about cultivating a relationship that works for the two people who are partners in life. It doesn't have to be that just because your grandparents, parents, your counselor at your church, or wherever, your business mentor, whoever, just because it's working for them doesn't mean that you have to do it in the same manner. It's about finding something between the two of you that works well, and you being in agreement with it. It's about you two being in agreement with it. Look, sometimes I get going and my words get jumbled. But you feel what I'm saying, right?
You're human.
Because harmony is what matters.
Yeah.
It's about creating harmony between two people that are able to make decisions together and then execute and operate together. That's what matters. Even if other people don't agree with the actions that you might take.
Who cares?
As long as two people are in agreement and you can execute and do those things, man, you winning.
Right.
You winning.
I absolutely agree with that. And be okay with knowing that as life's, be ready for changes.
Yeah.
Like the relationship dynamic might change. Like you get older, people get different jobs, you get kids involved, you might want to start a business, somebody's working a 9 to 5. Like it's so many different types of dynamics that can change over a lifetime. So be okay with pivoting, with changing who does what, who plays what role.
Right.
Be okay with that, because as lives, like stuff changes.
Listen, that's why I wear this hat intentional. That's why it's here today, especially for this episode. It's about being intentional in that relationship and knowing that it is going to evolve. As you grow in a relationship, as the two people grow, things change, the requirements change, which actually brings me to another one that you made me think about.
Okay.
There's this idea around balance in a relationship. And a lot of people think that balance in a relationship is, two partners being 50-50 or whatever. Something that we believe and that we've talked about before is that balance doesn't exist in relationships. It's really seasonal. It's understanding that there's going to be times where so much of your attention is going to be dedicated towards one thing. That could be whatever your career is. That could be spending more time together in your relationship because something might have been grabbing your attention before. That could be a season in your life where it might be about pouring and investing into your kids or your household, or being more intentional about your friendships and your other relationships, and you're getting more involved in those things. And it's about showing up regardless in whatever those seasons are, as intentional as possible, and being present and realizing that just because the focus changes sometimes, it doesn't mean that the love is lost.
Right. Yeah.
You can still show up for your partner, even when you get to a point in your relationship where attention has to be divided. And it's not about balance. It's about when we're in a season of focus to where this is what's priority, how present can we be in those moments? How present can we be with the time, energy, and attention that we need to dedicate to whatever that is? And sometimes those seasons change by the minute or by the day. Sometimes it can last a week, a month, a year, whatever. There's been times in our relationship over time where it's been completely about us and nothing else for whatever that season might be. And that can last a month, 2 months, it might last a year. There's been other points in our lives where we've had to be all in collectively on making sure that we take care of our baby girl. And it's all about her. And we got to put self on the back burner for a little bit so we can handle this. We never fall out of love. We never disconnect, but we got to take care of this business over here and then get back to us. And it's learning how to operate like that. And there's days where, hell, I might be only able to give 10% of my effort, because life. And she might have to make up for the 90, but I'm not going to stay at the 10. I'm going to get myself together, and then I'm going to show up and give her 100% of whatever I have at that moment. Right. And sometimes it's about learning to serve each other in those moments and realizing that just because this person can't show up completely at this time, it doesn't mean that the love is less.
Right.
It means that, okay, now it's time for me to show up and serve where I can. And so,
that's good.
Yeah, I ain't even know I had that one sitting back there.
You really had, that was really good.
I appreciate that, baby. You know, I be sometimes, I'm trying to think of some stuff.
That was good. I'm over here like, okay, well, go ahead then. But yeah, that's good. I think balance, I know people would like to talk about balance, but I don't think saying, I don't think being balanced is like a realistic thing. Like even the way we eat isn't balanced. Like I eat a high protein diet, low carbs. That's not balanced. When I'm at the gym or when I'm at my day, I'll say it like this. My day isn't balanced. Like I have my gym part. I have a certain amount of time I dedicate to the gym. I have a certain amount of time I dedicate at home, but it's not all equal. I have to dedicate a certain amount of time for each area. When I'm in the gym, that my focus is on my fitness. It's not on my business. Like when I'm working on my business, I'm not focused on being a wife. I'm focused on my business. Like, so that's not balanced at all. Yeah. It's pointing your attention and your focus on what is the priority in that moment. And then when it's time to pivot to the next thing, then do that. Yeah. But I don't think balance is the right word to use for life, like as a human, because it's impossible.
Yeah, it's like I said before, it's seasonal.
Yeah.
It's when you have two people who are working in a certain direction together, sometimes what's important or what the target is changes. Sometimes what's priority in that moment changes. Yeah. And that can be in the day, and that can be in what you got going on for the next couple of weeks, months, whatever the case may be. Absolutely. And it's like, for example, like with you and your fitness goals and some of the things that you're doing, she gets the whole family involved around it. It's like, hey, you know what? Mom's working toward this goal right here. I need y'all to support me as I'm working toward this goal. I won't be able to do these things over here the way I did before. So I need y'all to cover down and help me over here because the season has changed. And now this is a bigger priority. And I need y'all helping y'all support while I do this thing. Right. Now the question is, how can we show up for you? As a husband, I got to understand like, okay, well, you know what? For this point in time, maybe we got to shift what date night looks like. Maybe some of the things that we used to do for leisure activities or whatever, it got to change, or we got to put that stuff aside completely.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
No alcohol.
Cutting that stuff out or whatever. But it's understanding that, you know what, when things come up and they are important, it's about communicating that, getting each other involved, and then being okay with the season changing in that moment and going after it. And not thinking about it as being balanced, so to say. It's like, no, we're being focused.
This is focus.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
This is focus. It's not balance.
Absolutely.
What is the focus right now? And so that's one that I know, man, that a lot of people that I've seen tend to struggle with, because you can't have multiple focuses.
Right.
Like it sounds good, but if 100% of your focus is all you have, the more you divide that up, the less present you are in every other area.
You better say that.
Does it make sense,
good. That was good. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's like you only have 100%.
Yeah.
So the more present you are in whatever that target is, that focus is, that goal is, the more effective you can be in that moment. Rather than, I'm going to be 25% present as a husband. I'm going to be 25% present as a father. Or maybe when those moments come where it's time to be husband, I'm all the way husband at that time. I'm all the way dad at that time. I'm all the way, business owner or whatever at that time or whatever. When we're working towards something as a family, all right, bet. When all of us are involved in an activity together, we're all 100% working toward this thing together. And that's what the season is until it shifts.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, man, that balance one is, again, it's just another way to look at it through a different lens. It's a change in perspective based off of some of the things that we've learned. Another unpopular relationship.
I feel like every time you start a new one, I get a blank.
It's because you be getting sucked into
It's
what I'm
good.
saying.
You be on it.
Man, listen, I could go on for days.
I wish that I could like come up with stuff like that. I just be like,
Like I ain't think about that
I ain't
before.
think about that. Or and like I've thought about it, but the way you say it, like I love the way you speak.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so the way you describe things, it kind of brings it to life for me. So it's always teachable moments for me also.
I be trying to learn better ways to communicate certain messages though sometimes because like I've told you before, like my time in the military, when I used to teach and give classes and do all this stuff, I mean, even in, in my mentorship calls and as I've coached people before, I have to find a way to be able to say the same thing 5 different times because I don't know which way you're going to catch it.
Yeah.
So how can I say this different ways to that way it can connect in some type of way if it didn't in one way?
Yeah.
And sometimes I fall into that rabbit hole of doing that and it's like a habit. Because sometimes
it's good though because you never know who's watching or whatever. And they might need a different way of you saying it so they can understand. I think that's a dope skill to have because not that many people have that skill. I don't have that skill.
Yeah.
But I think it's really dope that you have that skill.
I appreciate you, baby.
Absolutely.
That's why you're so amazing. Because even look, this ain't unpopular, but another piece of relationship advice, man, is always making sure that you reaffirm your partner. Like she trying to sit over here and give me the big head and all the other stuff right now. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to take all of it in.
But it's facts though.
But like your partner needs to know that you care, that you see certain things in them, that you pay attention to them. And it's so valuable because a lot of people fail to realize how meaningful and impactful it is to be present and to be able to observe somebody that you say that you care about, to see those small details. Because to me, it's just something that I do. But it's like, oh, you pay that close attention to me to where you see me doing these little things and you think that's dope?
I do.
Like, I didn't have to think nothing of it, but it's dope to have somebody in your life that pays attention to you and at those levels. Because if we being honest, most people don't. Most people don't. Like, they overlook certain things because we're human. We all got our own little things going on. But when you have somebody that you're genuinely interested in, the closer attention you can pay to them, it sets you so much farther apart from any and everybody else because you get to see them in the most intimate way. And most people are usually listening for what they want to hear rather than being able to see certain things inside of people or being able to see things that they find valuable, because sometimes we're so programmed by our negative biases that we can't see some of those constructive and beautiful things inside of people that if you were just to tell them that would build them up, that would lift them up and things like that. So being present, man, is one of the most underrated things a person can do really in life in general, not even just in relationships, like being very present with the person that you're with. But let's unpack that. Okay. Because we say a lot of words a lot of the time, but we don't really dive into the depth of what they mean. Okay. And what ends up happening is people have their own idea of what they think it means. Okay. They go and try to execute that thing and it doesn't work out the way that they think it should have. Okay. So now it's like, okay, when I say be present, how do you take being present?
Being present to me is more than just being physically there. It's being literally in tune with you. Like I am like my body is like connected to you in a sense. Like I am here with you physically, but also like mentally and spiritually, just paying such close attention to you, to even the part where I said like that's a dope skill to have, because I'm like, damn, like I am intrigued by you. But that's probably because I'm low key obsessed, but we won't talk about that right now. But yeah, just being here with you more than physically. Like that's my best way to describe it.
Yeah, it's like when you're really present with the person, it's like you're actively trying not to miss anything with them in the moment.
Right. Absolutely.
It's like I'm understanding not only what you're saying, but how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm learning how to pay attention to both.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, depending on what the moment is, we can be saying a lot, but meaning something else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you've ever been in a situation before, you know, and I'm talking to y'all right now, if you've ever been in a situation with somebody who means a lot to you, maybe they get worked up or something like that, you hear them saying a whole bunch of stuff, but what they're saying doesn't actually communicate what they're actually feeling. So what you have to learn how to do is, I see that you're upset, and maybe what they're frustrated about isn't what they're actually talking about, but something that happened earlier in the day. Something that happened in a different type of situation, and you're on the receiving end of it, and you have to understand that it might not be directed towards you or something else, and it might just be a buildup of other things, but you're trying to figure out what that is so I can get to the core of whatever the problem is. Like being present in that moment and letting you know that I don't just hear you, but I'm here with you. I'm not only empathizing, but I'm sympathizing. Like I'm connecting myself with you in this present moment to give you all of me. And that's how I look at being present.
Yeah.
Because like the more, for us, I know we have a lot of times, you know, where honestly, if anything energy-wise shifts with one of us, immediately the other person picks up.
Absolutely.
Like it can't go under the radar ever.
Yeah.
We don't got to say it, nothing, but we're connected like that. Ooh, you know what that brings me to?
Uh-oh.
Another one.
What's another one?
Another. And this ain't even necessarily relationship advice, but it is.
Okay.
We have to understand, man, that people need people.
Okay.
We've talked about this so many different times, but understanding that it is okay for you to need the people in your life, to need your partner. I tell people all the time, like, I need my wife. She genuinely makes me better. She makes me want to be better. Even in times where there might be friction or times where, you know, a lot of other things may be going on, there's never a moment where I don't feel like I need my wife. It's not to say that I can't be a man or something like that without her, but what I'm saying is who she is makes me better. Who she is somebody that I long for and that I desire to have in my life. And I want her to know that I need her. I want her to know that her presence matters to me in my life. And I think it's important that as we're building and cultivating relationships with intention, we let the people in our lives know that you matter to me.
Right.
Like you mean a lot to me. I need you. Absolutely. And that doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you weak to let somebody know that their presence in your life matters to them. And it's okay for all of us to need each other. Like the only way we're able to do this show is because of the skilled people who are able to create cameras and microphones and the internet and all of this other stuff.
Right,
the only way we're able to do the clothes we wear is all because of another person's desire to fulfill a need and to be able to give that and serve that to other people. We need each other. Like we literally can't exist without one another.
Yeah.
So why is it that we get into relationships and people feel like it makes them less than to let their partners know that they need them, to let their friends and other people that they have in their lives, to let them know that they need him when you obviously need a whole bunch of other people to even operate your life that you've never met. You need the people that build the house you live in, the car you drive, the gas you pump. You need all of those people. You need somebody to pay you in order to be able to function in your life. I think it's safe to say that having a meaningful relationship with somebody who makes you better, who pours into you and who serves you, it's safe to say that it's okay for you to need that person and to let them know that. At least the person that you can reach out and touch who's right there doing life with you.
Absolutely.
When it's obvious that you need all these other people out here who influence your life and impact your life that you've never met.
That was good.
Yeah, that was what I'm 3 for 3 right now.
You're 3 for 3. I think this is your episode.
No, baby.
No,
wait, come on.
no, baby, no.
No, baby, no.
Oh, that's good. I think that's so true. I've never understood. I'm a liar. I'm not a liar. There was a point where I did feel like, I don't need nobody. All I need is my husband. There was a point where I felt that way. But it was due to who they were, not who everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense.
I can't cut off people as a whole because of the few.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it when people say they don't need, other people. Oh, I don't need it. I get it. But it's not true. It sucks that people have tried to convince themselves that it is true.
Mm-hmm.
When ultimately they know deep down that they do. They desire love. They desire meaningful relationships. They desire connection. We all do. That is a human need.
Absolutely.
You can't run away from that. You running away from that is what's making you more and more miserable.
I swear. And listen to that. Like, we got today where social media is so loud in all of our lives, and everybody is living for these experiences to post and share with people that don't know them from nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't a person walking alive today that can convince me otherwise, that the only reason that you even do any of that stuff is for the attention of other people. Because if it wasn't, then why would you do it?
Good question.
If that wasn't significant in the lives of people, and again, this is a today thing.
Yeah.
Because this is what we're dealing with in this day and age right now.
Yeah.
People only do that looking for some level of validation or reassurance or something like that from other people, regardless to if it's intentional or not. Because otherwise, why even be there in general? Yes, even if you want to make money in business and promote whatever your product, service, whatever it is, that's still an obvious cry for the fact that you need people.
Yeah.
So
even doing that for business is still like a validation thing, because you need the validation from clients to buy from you. Like it's literally the same. Just because we changed the way we do it doesn't mean the same thing.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely feel you on that one.
And that's growth, and knowing too, like even when we say those things, is knowing that, how we said before, the same principles that exist in one area exist in every area. Mm-hmm. So you have to realize that all of these things really do work together. Mm-hmm. And it's okay for us to need people. It's okay for us to know that it doesn't make us any lesser, knowing that the valuable relationships and the people that we have in our lives need to mean something. And just because you've had a bad experience doesn't mean that all people have to be branded that way. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that just because you've had a bad relationship, now all women or all men or whatever are like a particular type of way. That's not the case. All you have to do is take full responsibility of whatever you can control within yourself, raise your own market value, make yourself better, grow and become more. And then hopefully that'll give you the mindset to associate yourself with a better quality of people whom can appreciate the growth that you've undergone. That's it. Like that's just accountability. Maybe you swimming in the wrong pool.
Well, that could be it.
Yeah. So it's so much power in realizing, man, that growth is really our own responsibility. Mm-hmm. And taking that responsibility and that accountability to do the things that are, one, meaningful to us, and being intentional about the actions that we take, who we're deciding to become, the relationships that we're developing. Like, if we're more intentional about those things, like, that makes life so much easier. Mm-hmm. Because if we are more on purpose about controlling the things that we can control, there's no reason for us to be so bitter and mad and damaged and hurt or whatever, when we can just start to make better decisions based off of who we're being and deciding to be.
Absolutely. I think even in that, I think that can be such an overwhelming feeling though too. Like saying like, my decisions are my own. Everything that I do is like my responsibility. I got to be accountable for all things concerning me. Like, that can be overwhelming, but it can also be freeing too. Cause it's like, okay, well, if I can't blame anybody, then I can only blame myself. And what can I do in this moment to make whatever this is better for me? Right. I have that much control over myself. So I think like it can't, like we can say, oh, accountability, but it is overwhelming. It can be overwhelming, but it is also freeing. So you just have to pick what side you want to feel, or feel both and still take the right actions to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to look at it like this. under what circumstances can the possibility for things to get better be? Like, there's you not doing that and things not getting better.
Yeah.
And it's it being difficult or overwhelming and all of those things. Anyway, you still doing it and you having the opportunity to get better.
Yeah.
You got to pick a side.
Yeah.
Because if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the way you said that. Because you can be overwhelmed by placing blame on other people, or you can be overwhelmed by placing blame on yourself. Either way, you're overwhelmed. Which route you gonna take? The one you have control, or the one you don't have control over?
Right.
So, yeah, I agree with that. That was good, baby.
Yeah. Look, we weren't even supposed to go down that route,
I don't even know how we
just,
even got here. Like,
when it's in you, it's just in you.
It's in you, baby.
But I just see. Look, it's when I'm sitting next to you, I get these moments where I get so worked up.
Don't be corny.
And I just be like, this woman just makes me feel like I can do everything.
You
like
can. You can do anything.
Yeah. I ain't gonna do that.
I do it.
I ain't even finna bring them into the fold like that.
They don't need to hear our goofy.
Right. Hey, man, we hope y'all have gotten some value out of this. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. And what we want to know is there some unpopular relationship, advice that you have that you want to share with us? Or is there some particular relationship advice that you've heard before that you disagree with? We want to know that stuff too. Communicate with us, man. Let us know what your thoughts are, what you're thinking, what you think about some of the things that we've said. Because we want to know, is this real value? Is this real game that we're giving out? Like a change in perspective? Because a lot of the stuff that we've said before or to each other, we don't hear it a lot. But we got to make the sound and the voice of positive, healthy relationships louder, because there's not enough people out here doing it. But there's a whole lot of people with a whole lot to say about why relationships are bad. They out here talking down on marriages and all of this other stuff. And we got to make the sound of love and commitment and marriage and all of these beautiful things louder.
Absolutely.
Because they matter. And on top of that, man, life is just so much better on this side. Personal opinion. Take it how you want to. But anyway. From our experience. Especially when you do it, with the right person, your intentions are good, and you showing up every day to serve the one you love. Yeah. But anyway, family, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, my name is John Trone. This is my beautiful queen,
Adoria.
Hey, we are one dope couple, man. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace and love.